Come to the land of the call to the bullpen, whether we talk about sports and the football.
Welcome to the preview episode of Call to the Bullpen. I am Jared Silberclay, joined not by Robert Plant and Jimmy Page, but instead by
Austin Keeney.
And you know it's Chase B.
All right, after the new definitive, unquestionable introduction to this show, we're ready to go with our Week 8 NFL picks. Let's dive right in, baby. We got Dolphins at Texans. Thursday night showdown, 4-3 versus 4-3. Winners going all the way up. Losers, setback.
That was melancholy at best. Since we're going to go right into
melancholy and the infinite sadness. Word to Billy Corgan. NWA for life, baby.
All right, anyways, I think everybody knows where I'm going to go with this because the Texans have to win out, and they are winning out, and they will win out, and I will keep going on the Texans until they do not win out. The Texans, all the way. The Dolphins are going to get slaughtered in Texas.
4 weeks in a row, you've been right. They keep winning.
I'm just saying, they keep winning. If I bet money on the Texans, I'd be up a lot right now.
I'm going to pick the Texans here as well. I think that they are the stronger team. I don't know what the deal with Ryan Tannehill is right now, if he's coming back or not. But if
he's already been ruled out for the record.
He has been ruled out? Well, then
correct.
Fire up the Texans because Brock Osweiler is not winning another game this season. You can count on that.
One thing we have to take into consideration, though, the Texans' offensive line still has issues. And Deshaun Watson, it's not like the dude's killing it out there. So I do think that this could be a bounce-back performance for the Dolphins' defense. But nonetheless, Brock Osweiler, he's not nearly as, and granted, Ryan Tannehill isn't exactly elite, but he is a more multi-dimensional quarterback than what you get with Brock Osweiler. And for a rising team, rising defense especially, I think this is a pretty good matchup for Houston to continue their winning ways. Man, this could be 5 wins in a row for Houston. That's pretty awesome. I like it.
5-3, top of the division.
Yeah.
Gotta win out, baby.
Gotta win out.
They do have to. 5-3.
I'll tell you what, I'm going to have to get you a really big cookie or something if they go 13-3.
I mean, if they win out, I deserve something. I don't know what.
Maybe we'll have Jared spin the wheel of punishment 13 times.
That would be great.
What have I done wrong in this situation?
I don't know. I just think people
keep losing.
That's
accurate. And it's fun to
I just agreed with both of you.
It's true. You can't lose.
But I'm about to disagree.
Are you sure you're not going to take the Giants and the Dolphins Texans game?
Oh, well, we're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that in a little bit.
He is about to disagree with us on this next matchup, and that's going to be the Eagles at the Jaguars.
All right. So look, the Jaguars defense has been underperforming all season long.
So is their offense.
But listen. This team, I know they're slumping, but there's still too much talent on this defense. Yes, they have quarterback concerns, but they've been a better team at home than on the road this year. And
they just lost at home. But
they did. But again, the Texans, they're hot. The Eagles are not so hot. They're very wishy-washy. Now, granted, the Eagles have kind of been on and off, so this could be their on week. However, are the Jaguars? Think about this. They're really about to lose 4 games in a row. I can't see that happening.
If I told you, and I didn't tell you what their defense was, if I told you Blake Bortles, Carlos Hyde, and
TJ Yeldon.
Who's their best wide receiver?
Dede
Westbrook. Those are your top 3 superstars on the offense. Are you really surprised that they're losing?
Trent Dilfer has won a Super Bowl, though. We've seen this happen.
I'm not calling. So of 1,000 people that rode the bench and served water bottles to the rest of the players on the team.
Ramsey is not a Hall of Famer. AJ Bouye is not a Hall of Famer. Trent Dilfer was on a team with 3 or 4 Hall of Famers on the defense. That's just not the same. We can't compare those.
Listen, coming into this season, everybody was singing Jacksonville's praises as potentially the most stacked defense in the NFL. I mean, we're talking about, like you said, AJ Bouye, Jalen Ramsey, both very, very quality defenders. Along with, and you got, Yannick Ngakoue, I forgot how to pronounce his name.
Yeah, he's good.
And Calais Campbell, Miles Jack. Listen,
Calais Campbell's no joke.
At some point this season, Saxonville has to show up, and I think that maybe losing 3 in a row, especially that now they've dropped 2 divisional games, they know that there's no room for error. And they know they've got to turn it up. And, you can't drop back-to-back home games, especially if you want to contend. So I think the Jags are going to get it back on track here.
The Eagles are going to not obliterate the Jaguars, but they're going to win in, I think, a substantial fashion. Carson Wentz is coming to form like he was at the during the 2017 campaign.
And to break the rust out.
Yeah, and Alshon Jeffrey is looking like the animal he was in the Super Bowl. So I think that the Eagles are definitely primed to turn it around, get on the win streak. I think that they're going to probably win a couple games in a row and maybe make it to the top of the division.
Let's just say this. You get 2, 3, and 4 teams going at it here in very tight division races. So this is it fair to say this is kind of a must-win game?
It's not a division game, so I don't think it's a must-win. But
who wants to go to 3 and 5 though?
Exactly. It's going to put you in a little bit of a hole. If you're going 3 and 5, you need to win probably the next 6 out of 8 games at least.
Because what do they say? Like 10 wins is the playoff threshold, right? You go to 3 and 5, you have very minimal room for error.
I think the Jaguars can survive at 9 and 7 and still make a playoff berth with the division that they're in, and so can the Eagles. Actually, they're both pretty much 9 and 7, 10 and 6 is going to win that division.
Austin?
I definitely don't think the Jaguars will pull this off. Something's going on with them that they're just not playing to the best of their ability. I know they're supposed to have the best defense on the planet, but
wait a minute, guys. We haven't talked about the fact that this game is in London, and the Jaguars are... Hold on. They are London's favorite football team.
This is accurate. They've played the most games in London.
They're not at home. I take back what I said before. They are in London. That's better than being at home. They're really at home.
They play better in
This
London.
is the ultimate advantage. This game might be 50-0.
It's facts.
the Eagles are still going to win this game. The Jaguars are just not playing up to ability,
I
man.
don't know. That does change things.
This game is in London.
It changes the fact that the Jaguars are still going to lose.
They flush their toilets the opposite way. No, they don't.
No, they don't. They just spray them up their butts to wash the buttholes out.
Sir Harrington?
It's called the bidet.
I'm going to stay with the Eagles, but I can definitely see Jared's point where the Jags could just turn it up for their English brothers.
I used to work for NBC Sports with an Englishman, and he affirmed that the Jags are unquestionably the most popular NFL franchise in London.
That's hilarious.
I still think the Eagles win this game. I really don't care where they play. They could play on the moon, and the Eagles would still beat the Jaguars because the Jaguars just are not playing well at all in any way, shape, or form. Their run game is irrelevant. Carlos Hyde is a waste of a running back. He's not going to help them at all.
I will change my...
Much like the moon, your argument has no gravity.
I will change my...
Neither does England.
I will change my pick if Leonard Fournette plays at full health.
Leonard Fournette, I don't believe is playing. We will confirm and get back to you. Ladies and gentlemen, breaking news. It is confirmed Leonard Fournette is out against Philadelphia.
Google is an amazing thing.
It is. It's fantastic. So is not live podcasts. Moving on to the Giants and the Redskins.
I know the Giants have looked awful all season long, but I feel like they're gonna win this game because here's the thing. Listen, the Redskins they're due for a loss at this point, and the Giants to this point have not won a game at home. Even again, I'll say it again. Bad teams still win some games.
Yeah, blind squirrel finds a nut every once in a while, but the Giants aren't blind and they're not squirrels.
Listen, even if they wind up going 4-12, that still requires winning a few games. This is going to be one of those few games that they win. By the way, last year the Redskins were the Giants' only home win, and yeah, the Redskins don't do a lot of fancy things offensively, and which makes it a pretty, reasonable matchup, I think, for an offense that struggles to put up points consistently. So, the Redskins, again, have had a better than expected start, but they're a better home team than road team, and I think that the Giants will, they might not be on their way to a very good season, but this, I think, is going to be one of the few games that they win.
The Redskins' defense is much better than it was last year. I think that's why the Redskins are going to, I wouldn't say shut down the Giants, but win this game in a low-scoring affair. Adrian Peterson has also been playing very well, like you mentioned in our previous podcast. So I think that if he gets going and they can lean on their defense, I don't see the Giants winning this unless Saquon Barkley throws up a 300-yard game.
A lot of the last few games between these teams have been defensive affairs over the last few years. Like we've seen a lot of 20-10s, 20-17. I think last year was like 18-12. Things like that. So it's gonna be. I see it being in that same vein points wise. But yeah, I just think at some point they got to win a home game. I think this is it.
So Jared has the Giants. Chase and Austin both have the Redskins. Moving on to the Browns and the Steelers. Jared, you have the Steelers. Chase has the Steelers. I'm going to stick with the Browns on this one. I think
Stop
they're
it!
going to pull this one out.
Yeah, I don't know about this one.
The Steelers are, by the way, they're rested. Coming off a bye.
Yeah.
At home. Come on.
Yeah.
They're also a little defeated with the fact that Le'Veon Bell still hasn't showed up when he said he was
mattered?
going to.
I think they don't want Le'Veon Bell to show up at all, and I think it's helping
James
them.
Conner's doing fine.
He is doing fine. And honestly, I think Le'Veon Bell's not showing up because he doesn't want to be traded before the deadline. I really think he just wants to stay with the Steelers, and if he shows up before the deadline, they're going to trade him away, to be completely honest.
It's a money issue and an eligibility issue is what it is. So I think that if he waits until week 10, I believe, he's still eligible for
which is after the trade deadline. If he waits till after the trade deadline, he's fine because he's with them unless, everything hits the fan accordingly so he can go somewhere else. But I think if he shows up after the 30th, he stays with the Steelers and he's almost guaranteed another contract.
Dude, I think
no, not necessarily because the Steelers can trade him right now. He doesn't have to show up for them to trade him.
Fair enough.
I think where the Steelers are at this point, they don't really have an incentive to play him excessively in this game. I think that even if he's ready to go, if he seems to be struggling early, I wouldn't hesitate to take him out and put Connor back in there. There's no reason that just because Le'Veon comes back, you automatically have to make him that 3-down back, especially if this offense is putting up points without him. So, yeah, I would say short leash.
I will be shocked if Le'Veon Bell plays when he first comes back. Maybe the second game they'll play him just because they want to keep Connor loose. But primarily, Tomlin has always used one featured back, and it makes absolutely no sense for Bell to come in and take Connor's role after he's been playing absolutely
exactly.
fine.
Just I can see him getting a few snaps, but that's it.
Yeah. There's no point, and it would do nothing for the team's morale to say, "Oh, look, this guy just sat out for the first 10 weeks of the season,
By choice,
and now he's just getting all the carries." Makes no sense.
I agree. But as far as this game goes, as who's going to win, I think the Steelers' offense is building momentum, and again, they're rested coming off the bye, and the Browns are playing teams tough, but they're just not. They don't have it together yet. They're still a very raw team. Like there's potential there. You're seeing flashes in games, but they're not complete enough to finish them out, and I think the Steelers are starting to get right.
Didn't this game go into overtime in the first week of the season?
Sure did.
Yes.
Tie.
So we can see that the Browns play them tight. So
yeah, the Steelers are not going to fail to beat the Browns twice in one season. I don't think that's going to happen.
Wait. So the Browns won?
It was a tie.
Oh, it was
a tie, remember?
Oh, this was the tie.
Yeah, exactly. The Steelers are not going to fail to beat the Browns again.
So you know what you should change your answer to?
Vote for a tie.
Vote for a tie.
No,
would that be the first time ever two teams have tied twice in the same season?
Well, seeing as the tie's only been around for like 3 years, probably.
No, it's been around for a long time, but yeah. All
right, fine. Yeah, we'll do that.
If that happens again, I think every member of both teams should get the Golden Jockstrap Award. I mean, that's just embarrassing.
We're going to go with a wheel of punishment here. If it ends in a tie, you both do it.
Done.
Okay.
All right, good enough. I'm going to go with the tie on that one. Buccaneers, Bengals. Unanimous across the board. Buccaneers going to get spanked.
Yeah. Spanked is a tough. Spanked is a strong word, but I really, really, really don't like Tampa Bay.
I don't know why he broke into ballad there.
Yeah, I'm not sure it's the musical episode.
Yeah. No, I think that the Bengals are the better team, and they're going to be super pissed off.
Yeah. Again, this is just one of those games where when you're a contender and you have a setback, you have to take care of your business against the weaker teams, and yeah, they just gotta win this.
However,
game.
Jameis has looked decent with the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers always do this. They have a passing offense that is to be, feared or threatened by, but the Bengals,
they play better at home.
They look better. They have a better defense. They've got AJ Green. I'm going with the Bengals here.
Agreed.
Yep. Bengals across the board. Well, we know who's going with this with the Broncos on this next one.
Oh, man.
Broncos at Chiefs.
I'm surprised.
Listen.
You're being a mark right now is what you are.
I have got my reasons, and here's my reasons.
This is in Arrowhead.
The Broncos are the only team...
You realize that Sarah's standing behind you with a knife right now.
The Broncos are the only team to keep Patrick Mahomes somewhat in check. The Patriots couldn't do it. The Bengals couldn't do it.
She's doing that derpy meme face with the handout thing.
Yeah.
The Chiefs had to come back and win this game and barely survived. The Broncos have a shot here. They just have to play well. Now, I know it's much harder to go into Arrowhead, and I know that the Chiefs are the better team. Don't get me wrong. I know that they're better. But division opponents play each other tough.
They do.
And I think the Broncos have a shot. The Chiefs, I don't think, are going 15-1. This could be one of their losses.
I agree that
I don't know, man.
I think they're due for another loss or two, but I just don't think it's coming at home. And I don't
know. Listen, the Broncos are playing good. I mean, their defense, they're exciting right now. You know, Von Miller's lighting that team
exciting
up.
Exciting is a strong word.
For themselves, I'm talking
and
about.
And a longer rest because they played on Thursday night.
That's fair. That's fair. You know, and Von Miller's really trying to pep that team up, and I think he is by, you know, going into last week saying we're going to kick their ass, and he went in and they did. You know, so I think that their morale is getting a little higher right now, and they're really trying their best to stay positive amongst a losing season. So far, at least. But there's also some rumors out there about getting rid of Demaryius Thomas and Emmanuel Sanders and all these other things. So yeah, I don't want that to play into the fact that I don't want that to play into their chemistry. You know, I hope that it doesn't, that they don't go into this game thinking, oh, we're going to lose two of our top guys. You know, who's next? But I just don't see the Chiefs losing this one. Really, they're just lights out right now. Their offense is unstoppable. Even on the game they lost, they still put up 40 points. Like it's not like they're putting up 12 in their winning games. I mean, they're putting up 6, 7, 8 touchdowns a game and winning by big numbers. So yeah, I just don't see the Broncos.
I understand.
The only way they're going to win is if they get and force Mahomes to make some mistakes, because again, it's going to be like when you got a team that puts up as many points. In order for a team like the Broncos to match that, it's like what we talked about with last week. Their defense has to kind of become their offense, and I think that if you don't get those extra yards off those turnovers and shorten the field a little bit, it's going to be awfully hard for this team to put up the 30-plus necessary to win.
Listen, this was the same narrative that the Carolina Panthers against the Broncos in the Super Bowl was. We didn't have an offense. We had Peyton Manning, who was
but their defense was ridiculously good that year.
Right. I'm not saying that they're going to win the Super Bowl. I'm just saying there is a storyline where the Broncos defense comes out and plays well against this team.
I agree. Just don't see him finishing the job.
Especially not against the Chiefs.
Nah. So
with that one, Jared and Austin both with the Chiefs, Chase with his hometown Broncos. Jets at Bears, unanimous across the board with the Bears. What do you guys got?
This is another, it's trial by fire for Darnold. He's facing another really tough defense in his rookie season and on the road too. We all know that Chicago is not an easy place to play, especially, around this time of year. It's starting to get a little chillier outside. Jets are, of course, used to playing in New York, but nonetheless, for a relatively raw, young, inexperienced team playing against Darnold going up against one of the league's top pass rushers, we've seen that he's struggled against quality defenses this year, much like any rookie quarterback would be expected to. So, yeah, just tough matchup for the Jets. I see them getting overwhelmed here. Not to mention, Chicago is starting to fall behind with 2 straight losses, and they need a win.
I think that the Bears are definitely winning this game, and I think the Jets have also played well up to this point, but the Bears need a win. They've dropped a couple now. Then they can't fall farther behind in this division with the Vikings.
They're more ready for contention.
And the Vikings and the Green Bay playing as well as they are. So, Bears for me.
Bears across the board. Lions, Seahawks, Jared, Seahawks, Chase, and Austin Lions.
Yeah, I think that the Seahawks are coming into this game rested. They started to show some signs of improvement toward the bye. I still could see this. I think early in the season, I thought they were definitely missing out on the playoffs, but just because the NFC has been so mediocre, I think that those wildcard spots are a little bit more wide open, and the Seahawks are one of those teams where, yes, are they depleted compared to years past? Sure. But
I think depleted describes it.
Well, we get
defeated, almost.
Defeated. But however, is Russell Wilson capable of, putting his team on his back and winning games? Yes. Is Pete Carroll an experienced seasoned head coach that knows how to craft together quality game plans? Yes. So the Seahawks, if they win this game, all of a sudden they're 4-3. You could say the same about the Lions, though. So I like going with the veteran, QB-HC combo and the rest. So I like the Seahawks here.
I don't think the Seahawks have any chance of making the playoffs.
Absolutely not.
Like zero
chance.
I mean, maybe you could argue 10% with without injuries, but the fact that they've just had massive injuries this year.
Packers or the Vikings are taking one of those wild card spots. One of those two teams.
And then you get the Panthers after that.
And then you got the Panthers or the Saints. That's two wild cards. Done.
Well, yeah, but the Packers haven't. They've kind of been slumping, and let's not forget they're playing the Rams this week.
Well, let's just say
So this week alone, the Packers could be 3-3-1. The Seahawks could be ahead of them momentarily at 4-3. Just saying.
Yes, they could, and I mean, the Broncos could win, and all of a sudden,
which
the
is
Chiefs
why ties are stupid.
Yeah, but record-wise, not record-wise, power-wise, we're ranking the teams by power. You take the Packers over the Seahawks, don't you? If they're playing each other?
Well, yeah, you would, but I'm just saying.
So then there you go.
Yeah, if they're playing each other, but, they're mostly not going to be playing each other, and it's just kind of sometimes just the way the stars align. Sometimes an 11-5 team misses the playoffs, and an 8-8 team gets in.
No, that doesn't happen in the wild card, actually. 11-5 team
not in the wild card, but
that's what you said. That's what you're talking about, because they're not winning the division, because the Rams are winning the division.
No, but if the Packers continue to, if they continue to drop games, is what I'm saying. If they're both wind up coming down to the wire, this could be a situation where if the Seahawks just win the games, then they might get in, even though they're not the more talented team.
Sure, if the Seahawks go 9-7, they have a shot at making the wild card. I don't think they're going
9-7 is very much in play for a 3-3 team.
And with that, Jared sticks with the Seahawks. I'm taking the Lions. Chase is also taking the Lions. Move on to the Ravens and the Panthers. Jared's just arguing with us on everything. Jared's taking the Ravens. I'm still going against the fluke that's Joe Flacco, or the fluco that's Joe Flacco. I'm going to stick with the Panthers on this one. So is Chase.
The Panthers are going to be an on and off team this year. I think this is the week that they're off.
And this is on.
And no,
because they're playing Joe Flacco.
They were on
Joe
last
Fluco.
week against the Eagles, and now the Ravens. It's time for them to bounce back. This is a team that doesn't. I mean, hey, they handled the Saints pretty well, all things considered. Again, they lost arguably because of the freaking extra point debacle. But other than that, defense played really well against a loaded offense. This is a bit of a more manageable matchup for them. Again, a depleted receiving core. So it's going to be all about the run stopping here. Ravens play very physical football, and Flacco is having a pretty good, or some would say, kind of a comeback year. So yeah, I think that the Ravens are going to win this game, get to 5-3. I just think that they play. Their defense is going to be a lot tougher on Carolina than Carolina's will be on them.
I think these two teams are playing off of two different games. I'm sorry. The Panthers have a great comeback win in Philadelphia. They're feeling hot. They're feeling good about themselves. And the Ravens just saw their excellent kicker miss an extra point to lose the game. So I think that in that case, or therefore, the Panthers are going to keep rolling. They're going to be the hot team. They're home. And Cam Newton has been playing well. I'm going to take the Panthers.
That should be a good game. Austin, what you got?
I got the Panthers on that one. Again, everybody knows that I hate Joe Flacco and I hate the Ravens.
Sure.
And I'm going to keep continuing to stick with that because I'm not just going to change it because they're playing the Panthers. The Panthers are playing hot right now, just based off that last game, like you stated, Chase. And I definitely think they're going to pull this one out at home in Carolina. They will beat the Ravens in this one. Colts Raiders, unanimous across the board with the Colts.
Yeah, no Cooper, man.
The Raiders are
anything.
Did we mention that last episode?
No, we did not talk about
Amari
the fact
Cooper's
that
a Cowboy.
Amari Cooper is now officially traded to the Dallas Cowboys for a first-round 2019 draft pick. Amari Cooper, no longer with the Raiders. And I feel like the rest of the fire sale is coming. John Gruden's got 9 3/4 more years to rebuild this team and potentially do something before, I don't know. Are they going to maybe
Well, you know what the Raiders fan base looks like. I mean, those guys are pretty scary. You don't want to get on their bad side.
Yeah, faux Vikings.
So the Colts are going to win because the Raiders don't believe in their coach or in themselves.
Or in anybody on their team.
They don't. And then, hey, you know what? For the Colts, this is a team that you're in for a tough season in a very competitive division with a lot of good defenses. Now you have a rare opportunity this year to get back-to-back wins against some bad teams. And Andrew Luck is still, he's still Andrew Luck. So I think that, yeah, it's a good opportunity for them to get some good feelings going around in that locker room, and they'll win.
Next up, we've got the Packers at the Rams, and probably the game of the week.
Is this the future NFC Championship game?
Yeah, I hope so. I think Aaron Rodgers has got everything he wants in this game.
You think he's a bad man?
I'm sorry, not everything he wants. Everything that he can handle in this game with the Rams defense. It's going to be, hopefully, in my opinion, I hope it's a shootout. I hope it's Jared Goff versus Aaron Rodgers. I hope that the defenses don't show up and I just get to watch these two boys sling it.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you hope for in this game. And, I think that the Rams are going to finish at 14-2, 13-3, which does require them losing a couple of games. However, due to the way Green Bay's defense has played this year so far, and with how the Rams are just shredding everybody week in and week out, apart from that Broncos game, credit to you, Chase.
What did I say about my defense?
No doubt. But they're playing at home. And I just think that Green Bay's defense has been such a sieve this year that I don't see this devolving into an all-out shootout. I mean, when have we really seen the Rams defense just get lit up? I mean, there was
against the Vikings.
No, that was a game where they got up and then the Vikings couldn't keep up and they were trying to play, trying to come back on them.
What did you ask? I'm sorry. What did you ask?
A game where the Rams, defense legitimately looked like it was in danger of losing the game for the team. As far as
well, I don't know if that's really possible since the Rams offense has been so magnificent.
Well, that being said, that's why I don't think that the Packers are going to
if you're just saying has the Rams defense looked beatable, it definitely has looked beatable.
It's looked
especially with the injuries that they've been suffering.
Yes. It has looked beatable, but there really haven't been any moments in games where I feel like they were even the Vikings game. It ended up being a 7-pointer by the time it was over, but that was a game where the Rams were comfortably ahead pretty much all the way through, and they were tacking on, which is what good teams do. You add to your leads, and that was kind of the most vulnerable that we saw their defense look, and that was on a Thursday. So
the Seahawks game as well. They got ran all over.
Sure.
I'm just saying they're not. I know they have a lot of talent.
Yeah,
and they've got a lot of big names, but we've seen two teams who, the Vikings have a lot of talent, and the Seahawks, that was kind of one of those division games, but I think that Aaron Rodgers is definitely capable of putting up 3 or 4 scores on them.
Yeah.
Will 3 or 4 scores be enough to stop?
That is the question.
Three or
Rams.
So 3 or 4 scores is 21 to 28 points, and the Rams are putting up 30-ish or more.
Right, yeah, that is going to be the question. Yeah,
that's the thing. And
so what I'm asking is, are you definitely sticking with the Packers winning this game?
I am picking the Packers. I think that Aaron Rodgers
enough.
has still got something to say on his legacy, and I think that this is one of those games.
I think that, again, the Rams do have to lose at some point. I don't think this is the week, but I also wouldn't be shocked if Green Bay does it. I just think that the Rams are looking too good right now, and again, the Packers defense looks way too porous.
Especially that this is at home, at the Rams. This isn't in Lambeau. This isn't going to be a snow game.
True.
If this was at Lambeau, maybe I would decide on the Packers.
What if I told you the Packers were coming off a bye and had 2 weeks to prepare for the Rams?
It's not in London, all right?
I'm just saying.
I see London. I see France.
I see the Rams beating Aaron Rodgers' pants.
Yeah, that's it.
Anyways, 49ers, Cardinals. Is this even a football game?
Why is this a thing? Brought to you by the CFL.
Brought to you by Connecticut's Pop Warner. Yeah. Why are we watching this football game? Why are we talking about this football game?
There are probably some pretty good. I'm gonna actually call out the Ansonia High School football team. I think that they might stand a chance against either one of these squads because
the Nichols College football team might win against these guys.
Yeah, there you go.
For the record, I played sports there, so I can make fun of them for being terrible.
Yeah.
I put the 49ers down on paper here. I'm going to switch it to the Cardinals, to be completely honest. The 49ers I don't think they stand a chance. I mean, not that the Cardinals are that much better, but honestly...
That's a strong statement to make against...
That is a strong statement.
Don't stand a chance is what you say when the 49ers are playing the Rams, not when they're playing the Cardinals.
Well, I'll be completely honest.
You make it sound like it's a foregone conclusion that there's no way they could possibly hope to beat the Cardinals.
As we look at the spread, it's only a 1-point spread.
Yeah.
I just don't see the 49ers being able to pull this off. They just don't have it this season. They don't have anybody.
Neither team has it. They're combined 2-12 right now.
Josh Rosen versus C.J. Beathard. Who you got?
Yeah. Josh Rosen, to be completely honest.
No. I really think that the 49ers offense,
or Patrick Peterson's going to quit.
The Niners offense has actually looked surprisingly not too terrible at times. I mean, they got lit up by the Rams. That was to be expected. But they've actually put up some points with Beathard since Garoppolo went down. So I think that they've shown a little bit more capacity than the Cardinals offense has shown. And not to mention that all this drama and talk about Patrick Peterson wanting out, and then the head coach is like, no, we're not trading him. Those are signs of a team that isn't together. So I'm leaning toward the Niners in this game.
I absolutely agree with you. I think the Niners have shown more promise more opportunity to score on offense, and that's why I think that they'll be able to beat up on the Cardinals' lowly defense. That is just not what it used to be with Tyrann Mathieu back there.
And just to confirm our picks for that game, Chase and Jared are both going with the 49ers. I'm going to stick with the Cardinals on that one. I really think they're going to be able to pull this one out against a terrible 49ers team this year. With that, we'll go to the Saints and the Vikings. Jared, going with the Vikings. Chase and myself with the Saints.
I'm going to lead us off here. The Saints have been great. And
just on fire,
I
man.
saw them win a game away from the Saints' home stadium, and that shows me that they're the real deal. And if they can win away games against tough opponents, why wouldn't I pick them? They look great.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be a great game. First of all, let me say that the conditions of the road environment will not be a factor for the Saints because this is a dome game. However, it is still back-to-back road games against two quality defenses, so yeah, that's not too easy. And I think that I'm not going to say this is not really a must-have game for. I think seeding-wise, this could really matter later for the Vikings because first of all, you want to stay atop the division, of course. But if you drop a game like this at 4-3-1, it's kind of hard to be in play for a bye. Whereas if you, obviously the tie kind of absolves them of potentially being in a tiebreaker situation with the Saints. However, getting to 5-2-1 is big for this team. I think that the Vikings defense has been playing better lately, and the Saints defense has been pretty porous. And yeah, the Vikings, we know that their offense is looking a lot better this year with Kirk Cousins. I think he's got so much chemistry with Adam Thielen. Although Stephon Diggs has not been having a good year by any stretch of the imagination, I think that the Saints are due for a loss. Very quality football team, but second straight road game, again, against a really tough team. I think that this could be that win that vaults the Vikings into Chase, what we've been talking about the last several weeks. This could be one of those we're the real deal games.
Is there any other records that Drew Brees can break in this game? Because it seems like every time we talk about the Saints in their recap of the game, he breaks some record.
Well, if you're looking for a reason for Brees to come out and play, let's not forget that NFC divisional game with the Vikings Minnesota Miracle.
Yeah, seriously, this is a redemption.
That was so good that Joe Buck showed emotion.
Saints want
Joe
revenge.
Buck has no emotion. He's a robot.
Listen to his call
announcer.
for that. Listen,
he's awful.
You got to give the devil his.
Nope. Joe Buck is terrible. He's awful. I hate him. Baseball, football, I just hate him as an announcer.
Nonetheless, this is a primetime matchup worthy of its placement. I mean, we're all expecting a heck of a game. It's a rematch of a postseason game that's going to be remembered for a long time for good reason. And yeah, I mean, I see the Vikings pulling it out. The Saints could certainly win. Whoever wins this game is looking like they're in real good shape as far as staking their claim as a top Super Bowl contender.
And our last game of the week is the Patriots versus the Bills.
Should have put this somewhere in the middle so we had something more to talk about.
Yeah.
God, this is gonna be bad.
It's the curse of the Monday nights. We're just doomed to have terrible Monday night football games for the rest of our eternity.
Hold on a second. This is at the Bills. They have a stingy defense at home. They've beaten a couple good teams.
Chase,
you don't think that they can keep this close?
Chase, I'm putting my hand on your forehead. I need to check your temperature.
We'll remember this. It's a division game. You know these teams play
Derek
close.
Anderson just threw 3 interceptions against the freaking Colts.
Blowout?
Yeah!
I'll take that.
Yeah,
I'll take that bet. I'll take a bet that it's not a blowout.
All right, I'm not going to predict an all-time blowout, but this will be comfortably at least 2 scores, maybe more.
Deal. 2 scores.
All right.
14 or 10?
14.
All right. Deal. So it's done.
Yeah, it is done.
The deed is done. All 3 of us are going with the Patriots on this one. We're going to have a little Wheel of Punishment bet. If the Patriots win by more than 14, then Jared wins that bet. And if they don't, then Jared has to deal with the Wheel of Punishment.
Yep, exactly.
And continue to send in your suggestions for the Wheel of Punishment. We definitely need them. We've only gotten a few, so definitely keep sending those in because Jared seems to keep losing, and I really want to see him do something stupid.
I'm due for a lot of punishment.
I know, seriously.
Guys.
We might just have to come up with them ourselves at this point, but definitely put your suggestions in because we got to get these things out there.
Yep. So with that,
you know what time it is.
I do know what time it is. It's time for the moment of the week.
I'm ready to go if you guys are all right. So first off, we're going to go back across the seas to London, where the Titans make a heroic comeback for their countrymen. Well, not really their countrymen, for their international men. and they make the comeback. They score the touchdown. What's this? The coach is saying go for 2. But why? Why go for 2? We've been playing well the entire fourth quarter. The Chargers, we've had their number the fourth quarter. Let's just send this game to overtime. No, let's go for 2. All right, we'll go for 2. They go for 2, and they don't get it. But wait, there's defensive holding. Oh, you guys get another shot. Now you could rethink your choice. Well, we didn't get it with our first play. Let's probably go kick a field goal and just tie this up and send it to overtime. No, we're going to go for it again. And they go for it again, and they miss it again. They had 2 attempts at going for 2 to win the game, and they missed both of them. Titans, you're my old moment of the week. Bad coaching, bad decisions.
All right, well, for my old moment, I'm going to go. I touched on this in our recap show, but my moment has got to go to Jason Garrett and the whole Dallas Cowboys just for continuing to embarrass themselves and lose in the most creative and entertaining ways possible for those of us that don't like the team like me. I mean, first of all, you have the conservative play calling. When they're getting just to the cusp of field goal range against the Redskins, they run the ball up the gut as if they're down by like the 15 or something. And no, they're 47 yards. Yes, that's a makeable field goal for most kickers, but it's not a chip shot. And then what happens? What happened? They didn't even have to ice the kicker. They iced themselves because they got a false start. All of a sudden, that 47 turns into a 52. And what happens on the kick? Hits off the upright. Classic Dallas Cowboys. My Giants might be horrible, but there is nothing, absolutely nothing else beyond a Giants win that puts a bigger smile on my face than the Cowboys making utter fools of themselves. This is why I hate the Eagles more than them, and I always will, because the Cowboys do stuff like this. They don't win big games. They don't win championships. They lose games like this.
We're going to keep it on the year of the place kicker. Justin Tucker misses his first extra point ever, loses the game for the Ravens, and becomes the next big meme next to Bad Luck Brian. I mean, the memes out there making fun of him, the faces he's making after this missed kick. I'm sorry, you had one job.
The Ravens fans, they want Cundiff back.
No, that's not true at all.
No, they don't.
That's not true. Billy Cundiff is just awful. But Justin Tucker, I mean, I can't knock the guy for the ability that he has. He's been so consistent in, all the headlines out there that the Ravens have all the confidence in the world behind Justin Tucker. But the fact that you go out there and you lose a game on the one job that you had, I mean, you get paid to kick it between the uprights. And I know they pushed the extra points back a few yards a couple years ago, but come on, man. You got to kick these extra points. This wasn't a 63-yard field goal. Oh, wait, the Giants lost to one of those. This was an extra point. Put it through the uprights.
And she's never missed one of those in his whole career.
Win the game. And even if you don't win the game, don't make a fool of yourself. But you did. You done goofed, Justin Tucker. Kick the damn ball.
Are we allowed to say that?
Yup.
Okay. All right. I guess we are. Well, with that, ladies and gentlemen, we're bringing this to a close. 2-for-1 swing, 2 episodes in 1 week, recap and preview. So, yeah, continue to support us and check us out on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all that good stuff. We're available.
YouTube, Spotify,
Yep.
iTunes, Stitcher, Libsyn. 5 different ways to listen.
What?
You could use 5 different devices to listen to us 5 times, and you can listen to Jared say that.
Exactly. You could hook it up on surround sound in your man cave with like all these different speaker systems and devices. You could have yourself a grand old time.
Something like that. Again, YouTube, Stitcher, Libsyn, iTunes, Spotify. Subscribe, like, share, review. Like us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. I can't even remember all of them. There's so many. There's so many ways to connect with us, message us, contact us. Let us know what you think about the Wheel of Punishment, Misfortune, Torment, whatever you want to call it. Make Jared do something ridiculous for love's sake.
I'm begging for it over here.
Yeah, seriously. That's our preview of the Week 8 NFL season. Let us know what you think about our picks. Comment on our Facebook, our Twitter, and our Instagram on our posts that will share each and every pick that we have for this week.
And with that, this has been Call to the Bullpen.
And we are
Hanging up.